Hello and welcome to the first episode of On the Mic with Samannoy Ghosh. I'm your host over here, and welcome to my YouTube channel. So thank you very much for being with me, everyone, and I hope that you'll carry on with me because we're going to cover the Cricket World Cup, which has just started in India, the ODI Men's Cricket World Cup 2023, and Bangladesh have just defeated Afghanistan in their match at Dharmshala. And it was a very positive win for Bangladesh, a much needed one. So I'm going to give you my perspective on things about the match, some analysis also. But I've also got someone, a very special someone, with me to share his thoughts on the match and the performances of the teams and the players, which is none other than Ahmed Farhad Fidai, who's an international commentator. So I'll just add him and welcome him to On the Mic with Samannoy Ghosh. Hello, assalamu alaikum. Welcome to On the Mic with Samannoy Ghosh.
Walaikum salam. It's a pleasure to be with you, Samannoy. Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, likewise. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. Also, it's just the first episode, as I told you earlier. So it's the first episode, and we're doing it together. It's great. We had the pleasure of working together when Afghanistan recently visited Bangladesh for their tour, and it was a lovely experience.
Absolutely. It's always nice being in Bangladesh, and then with the matches against Bangladesh is always fun with a lot of passion both the crowds bring into the game.
Absolutely, it does. It does. And apart from that, we'll get to the match, of course, but then you have some moments from Bangladesh also. You spend your Eid here in Bangladesh, so we'll get to that, of course. But let's just dive into the match first. First match for both the teams, Bangladesh and Afghanistan, in this Cricket World Cup in Dharmshala. And, commiserations to you and the Afghanistan supporters and the players, the team, of course. But it was a very important win for Bangladesh. Your thoughts on the match?
Afghanistan was a little unpredictable, to say it the least. You would be expecting a better fight from Afghanistan. And when you put Bangladesh and Afghanistan and compare both, you kind of have a feeling that maybe it's a 50-50 kind of situation for both of them. On a given day, one or the other is going to win. We discussed this when we were doing the Bangladesh-Afghanistan series, and it was during the air that we talked about Afghanistan and Bangladesh meeting one another at the very first match of their Cricket World Cup 2023. I'm happy for you and for the fans of Bangladesh, for Bangladesh securing their first win with a big margin. But I think Afghanistan did not apply themselves properly.
So we'll get to the application part, of course. When it's a low-scoring game, it does come on to the application on the field. But before that, yes, Bangladesh won the toss and elected to field first, inviting Afghanistan to go and have a bat. How important do you think the toss was?
Well, I will ask you first question. Why is it that ShakibAlHasan always wins the toss? I don't remember the occasions when he has lost the toss. And again, Again, he won the toss. I think it was an important toss to win because for the kind of conditions they were, you will have fancied your chances to chase down whatever the target is. It was fortunate for Bangladesh, and they actually created this fate for themselves, getting Afghanistan bundled out for only 156. But even if it were above 250, Bangladesh having put Afghanistan to bat first had a better idea how to go about their run chase. So I think it was a good toss to win, regardless of the fact that if the dew will come into play or not, because it was a day game. Maybe towards the very later part of the innings, there could have been something about it. But I mean, that being said, it's always nice to know what target you're chasing, because the thing about Dharmshala is bigger targets of even 330 being chased. The average score on that ground is about above 300. So, yeah, I think it was a good toss for ShakibAlHasan and the Bangladesh to win, which he always wins.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to add with you, also when you're bowling, you understand the pace of the wicket, you assess the conditions, and you advise your batters to go and play accordingly, right? Which Bangladesh did. They took a bit more time in chasing. Of course, they knew the target, and it was not a big total. You wanted to add something?
Oh, I mean, absolutely. You just put everything together into a beautiful way. It is that you read the conditions. MehidyHasanMiraz bowled brilliantly, came out, and then batted brilliantly because he kind of had a feeling about how the wicket is behaving. To me, there was not much on the wicket. To me, it was for Afghanistan having not played proper shots. But take nothing away from how the Bangladesh uh, players had
Bowlers.
studied the entire Afghanistan batting lineup. I mean, the two wickets that Shakib Al Hasan took initially of Rahmat Shah and before him Ibrahim Zadran, we saw
Ibrahim
how he
Zafran.
kept the ball away from the reach of the batter for that particular shot that they went on to hit. So it was again away from their reach, and that's the reason why they couldn't clear the boundaries and they top edged it and gave away their wicket. But that being said, like talk about all the wickets. Shakib Al Hasan kept changing his bowlers according to the batsmen. For instance, bringing in Shariful Hasan and then bringing in TaskinAhmed. And every time he was bringing those changes, he was actually putting extra pressure. And the spell from MehidyHasanMiraz, in particular, when Hashmatullah Shahidi came out in the middle, because a left-hander and then bringing an off-spinner to him, and then that too of the quality and caliber of MehidyHasanMiraz, I think it was superlative captaincy as for the rotation of the players around the Afghanistan batters for Shakib Al Hasan was concerned. So I will give him absolutely 10 marks for that.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. We are, his captaincy was very good, and then he took responsibility, right? He came into bowl early on in the first power play, and that's where, even though Afghanistan, you have to give it to them for having a decent start. So they did get a decent start, right? 47, and that's when they lost their first wicket, and then they lost their second wicket in the 16th over, I think, and they were 80 plus something, right? So they did have some partnerships, some span and some spells of partnerships which they could not convert. Initial wickets were taken by Shakib, as you mentioned, and then the way he rotated the bowlers, once he got a few wickets, he went back to the main men, which are the fast bowlers, the pace battery in recent times have grown a name for themselves, the Bangladesh pace bowlers, right? So he and that actually reflects his personality. Also, he's a bit aggressive. He's positive minded, looking to win the game. So not defensive on that regard, right? Always how to get the points, how to win the game. So those things came on, and also you mentioned Miraz, of course. His 3 wickets and Shakib's 3 wickets were massive. There's 6 wickets there among the spinners, whereas in recent times you were hoping that or you were relying more on the fast bowlers. So that's really a positive to take away from this game, right?
Absolutely. I think Bangladesh should be very happy with the way their captain has led their side. There are areas that they will be looking at, still experimenting a few things. The opening from Tanzid, he's been clicking. He's been playing brilliantly recently. Uh, I mean, down the order, he will have to see whether he wants to stay with the 3 spinners and 2 pacers or 3 pacers and 2 spinners. These are all the equations and kind of check and balance that you do when you go and play against a particular opposition. But if you take at the start of their tournament, I think they have started really well and they should be really, really proud of themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to also mention the fast bowlers who were also among the wickets. Shoriful with 2 wickets, Taskin with 1 wicket. Mustafiz, I think I would say it's kind of a rebirth for him in the warm-up matches we saw, which was an issue, or say people pointed out, if he could get the ball to jack back in towards the right-handed batter and take it away from the left-handed batter, aside the cutter he has, right, along with that angle. So that's something we saw on display during the warm-up matches, and I think that's, if he gets going with all his experience, that's going to be a huge plus also. So restricting Afghanistan, I think there was a plan. Even though they got a start, it was a good comeback from the bowlers, good effort in the field. Yes, then it comes to the opening batters, and because in the Asia Cup, Miraz had opened and performed and got some runs, some people were actually thinking that Miraz is going to open, maybe with Liton Dash and in place of Tanzit Tamim. But the way Tanzit Tamim, grabbed the opportunity with both hands, particularly in the warm-up matches, obviously he has a lot of potential. People say good things about him. We've noticed good things about him. He's a very positive cricketer, likes to hit the boundaries. So he has that, and that extra rush of energy and the confidence, because some of these players, and Tanzit Tamim, Shoriful, they belong to that under 19 winning side, which won the Under-19 World Cup, right? So they bring in that energy. It's a good blend. That's why Tanzit was there, and it would have been great for him and also for Bangladesh if he got some runs under his belt today, earlier in the match. But I think I was also predicting that maybe it's going to be Miraz coming in at 3 instead
Mhm.
of Shanto, right? Shanto had been batting at 3 in recent times. But and I also think that it's particularly with respect to Afghanistan that they've promoted Miraz to 3, particularly for this match. Your thoughts on that?
I will not support the idea of shuffling the number of the batsmen. I'm of the idea of keeping the batters in their position and let them play in their position and start feeling comfortable there. But then again, it's different conditions and different days. And some people go by their instincts. And who other than ShakibAlHasan, who's been out there for so long and he's played so many World Cup matches for Bangladesh. I think it's times that you just want to go for whatever you think is right and your instincts tell you. So I'm happy that it has worked for them. But I will rather want MehidyHasanMiraz for the uh, solidification, if I may, like say, uh, down the order. So he's like a solid rock down at the lower middle order
That's what he
for
mentioned.
Bangladesh.
Yeah, that's what he mentioned in the interview, right? As the player of the match, that's what he mentioned, that I batted number eight or number 7, and then even in the warm up matches he batted at 3, he batted at 4, and he got runs, which is a massive plus. And obviously, he's a good bowler. He contributes with the ball as well. Well, as long as he keeps on scoring runs, that's good. And I also agree with you on that note that not only for Miraz but also the other batters who are in the side, if there's too much of shuffling, it also plays in their minds, right? And you're not clear of your role.
I think we have seen this in the Afghanistan side as well. We have shuffled some of the players at number 4, number 5, and number 6, and then we have just remained confused as to which position finally we can play this player at. So I would rather stick to particular numbers. If we look at India, or for instance, if we look at certain other countries, like they have a specific batter for a particular position and they do not compromise their position no matter what. And they do it for a reason, because they want to know that that particular position belongs to this particular batter and he is going to occupy it for how we want it and will play according to the conditions. But then again, as I said, it worked for Bangladesh today, so congratulations to them. I didn't have a lot of hopes on MehidyHasanMiraz, honestly speaking, because I thought it wouldn't be every day that he would be able to play 100 against Afghanistan. He had a couple of chances dropped. That was lucky for him. But again, my thing will be that if you want to rely on him to carry you along down the lower order, then just keep him there, because he's a good solid batsman who you want down the lower order to give you that strength and confidence. And what happens is, if you as number 3, number 4 know that down the order you have someone who will stay there, you can play your shots and you can just do what you want. But all of a sudden, when you see that you do not have that uh, reliable batsman down the order, then your batting kind of changes. But again, this works for Bangladesh. But if you ask me, my idea on this is, I'm not a big supporter of shuffling the orders.
Yeah. I completely get where that's coming from. Mm, but also, just coming back to Miraj, contributing with 3 wickets and also scoring runs. Yes, never mind the shuffle, but whichever position is been given, and what we hear of and what we know of him is that he's always very motivated, and he's a believer. Regardless of what the situation is, if you ask him, "Can you do this? And can you go in and win them?" and he'll be like, "Yeah, I can go in and win the match."
And that's the reason why I saw one of his fans standing behind the hotel when I was in Bangladesh. And that guy was like, I want to meet MehidyHasanMiraz. So a believer he is, and believer his fans are. And that guy was like for hours outside the hotel. So I can tell why Bangladesh fans really, really love having MehidyHasanMiraz, because he certainly adds a lot of value into the Bangladesh playing 11. I mean, take it from his bowling to his fielding, and then for his outstanding batting performance. I think altogether, Bangladesh are blessed to have some of the really, really extraordinary players in their side. And on a given day, if they all together click, I mean, they can beat any side from the remaining 8 teams playing in the Cricket World Cup.
Hmm. Yes, definitely. And how good was NajmulHossainShanto? Scoring in half century
Don't
again.
ask me. Don't ask me as an Afghan. Honestly, about NajmulHossainShanto, do not ask me, because I still remember how he played against Afghanistan in that test match. 200s, for God's sake. He was in some superlative form. And then there are players who just find their feet against a particular team. And I think for Afghanistan, they are NajmulHossainShanto and MehidyHasanMiraz. Every time they come play against Afghanistan, every time they seem like performing. And overall, Shanto is an aggressive player. He's the kind of player that you want in your side to win you the games and take the aggression and take the, attack on the opposition. So I will always support having NajmulHossainShanto in my side. I'm really, really turning out to be a fan of him as for his cricketing style and his attacking batting is concerned.
Yeah. He's already scored a few tons this year, uh, a few 50s also. I think, if I'm not wrong, this was his sixth 50, and the partnership they built together was of 97 runs, Miraz and NajmulHossainShanto, and they do go a long way back. They played for the same under 19 Bangladesh side for the in the 2016 under 19 World Cup, and they've come through the ranks over the years. There has been a lot of criticism where Shanto is concerned, but I really like how he's bounced back. It shows a lot of character, right?
Yeah, I still remember when we were talking about NajmulHossainShanto and how he had only scored under 300 runs for a longer period of time, and then he was trying to find himself back. And the way he's come back, the way he has grabbed the opportunity. When you earlier said about Tanzid, it's the same thing about Shanto. He has solidified his place into the side, and now he is like kind of player you cannot leave out of your playing 11. So absolutely, it's a luxury actually for a side to have such a strong pace attack, then amazing spin attack led by Shakib and then you have reliable batting options with NajmulHossainShanto, Mushfiqur Rahim, Shakib himself. So that gives you a very good complete package. And then with all the playing 11, you see what an energy they bring out in the middle. How wonderful the fielding of Bangladesh was. They've certainly stopped a lot of runs. We noticed the point region. I mean, you'll tell me exactly the fielder who fields at the point region. We
I
we
think
were
it's Miraz
counting.
most of the time. It's
Yeah,
Miraz most of the time
we
who
were
feeds at
counting, and he saved about 10 runs. And what is he doing? He's not even
Miraz,
allowing the
Tanzit
Afghanistan
Tamim.
batter.
These are young guys. Even Tanzit Tamim, you know.
Yeah. So I think it's really a good side. It's just that I hope that the games coming up next for Bangladesh keep clicking the way they did for the game in Dharmashala. And listen, you do not know. Maybe Atarbai's prediction come true, and you get to see Bangladesh among the Super Four teams. Well, I seriously enjoy watching them. I kind of have a bond with them now. The way how warm and wonderful people they were off the field, and how excellent an experience that was to be in Bangladesh itself. So I really hope for my second team, Bangladesh, to make it big, inshallah.
Oh, that's a good one. That Bangladesh is your second team, so it's nice to know that you're here and supporting Bangladesh. But I also wanted to get some thoughts of yours on the Afghanistan team. Also, Gurbaz got a start. I know he's one of your favorite players. I really like him. I really like to watch him bat. Also, so they got starts, and we know how strong at the core Afghanistan players are, but what do you think went wrong, and how they can recover from this?
I think Afghanistan is becoming a bit of an unpredictable side. Like on a day they are the best, and on a day they are the worst. They are not able to find the middle path in between. I think from 112 for two, falling down for 156 is something really, really a big concern for them. The wicket didn't have much. The bowlers were not as, I mean. Penetrative, to put it that way, if it may not be unjust to the Bangladesh bowlers, because some wickets were just given away. It was like the Bangladesh bowlers were very sharp in their mind, and the Afghanistan batters had no idea whatsoever at all. Like I mean, if you remember how our captain got out, he came down the track and Mehidy just knew it all over it. I mean, he pulled his length and he didn't give him the room and he got himself out. And then talk about our, Najib Zadran. It was he played down the wrong line and it was just a straight ball. So there were so many things that the Afghanistan side really, really missed, including our catching. Our catching efficiency is the worst among all the 10 sides playing in the Cricket World Cup. We are like the 10th bottom of the bottom. Bangladesh, unfortunately, is also about 7th or 6th as far their efficiency is concerned, and they need to improve on that. But today they were really, really good at that. They held on to the catches. On the contrary, Afghanistan still spelled a few chances. So I think for Afghanistan, what went wrong was their middle order didn't have a clue. They just started going hard, and it's time that you kind of recalibrate with yourself. If you're not able to make 300, bring it down to 250. And if you kind of notice that things are not going your way, 250 is not possible, then take it to 220 and then play your chances and see if you can hopefully make it to 250. So I think that went wrong for Afghanistan. They thought that they were still in the hunt for 280, which was wrong. I know the wicket was for 280. And I know you wanted to put that score there, but if it is not coming through, it is not coming through. So it is important that you just hold your nerves. So I'm sure that Afghanistan will have learned their lesson, will have discussed this, of course, among themselves. And I'm hoping that we will play a good cricket against the bigger remaining oppositions, and particularly against India, playing against them in India and then against England. Those two matches are played in Delhi. They're going to be kind of batting paradise. If not, at least they'll be batting friendly. So hopefully our batters will click and we will score runs. I know we will be on the receiving end as well, but hopefully that we'll be able to score runs and hopefully we will play good cricket. And from there, if we get good, strong moral, because I know there are a lot of Bangladeshi fans of Afghanistan cricket as well. So for the benefit of our viewers in Bangladesh, the wonderful followers of the Afghanistan cricket, I'm hoping that we get some positive from our two matches against India and England, and then we go with that positive energy to play against Pakistan and New Zealand on a spin-friendly tracks in Chennai. So I'm really, really hopeful, but it's very important that they do their calibration and they come back stronger, which is expected of Afghanistan. And saying that, I'd like to congratulate Bangladesh for winning the bronze medal in the Asian Games. It's a very happy moment for Afghanistan to have concluded being the second. Agreeing with the silver because of the rain factor, because about 130 runs chase on that wicket will have been difficult for India for the kind of spin attack, including Qais and Zahir and Sharafuddin we had. But I'm very happy the fact that Bangladesh and Afghanistan finished on the bronze and silver respectively. So congratulations on that.
Congratulations to you also, and thank you for the nice words too. But I you've mentioned pretty much everything, and I couldn't agree more with most of the things you said. And Bangladeshi bowlers were disciplined; those things did come in. But also, I just wanted to touch base on Rashid Khan. Obviously, he's a massive name, he's a massive player, and the impact he has. Right. I was just wondering, that being wicketless in another match, it might happen to any player, it might happen to any human, of course. But I was just wondering if this is a case of him not being able to convert his T20 success to the ODI or the longer versions, more of that, or that the fact that in the longer versions, batters can milk him off, and especially when you don't have a decent total on the board, it's easier for the batters to be careful and cautious against him particularly.
I think it will have to do with the partnership that we put together as the bowlers, if you talk about Afghanistan. So if we get to see good bowling performances from the other bowlers, we will see Rashid Khan among the wickets as well. Because the problem with Rashid Khan is if you just score 3-4 runs off him and then the next bowler comes and you score 7-8 off him, there's no more pressure on the batsman. So if there is no pressure factor, it's kind of easy to play him safe. Wouldn't be very easy, because you hear Steve Smith and all the big players telling you the player that is difficult to read is Rashid Khan. So there must be something about him that the big players like Labuschagne Steve Smith. On that
No doubt.
ICC video, they say
No
that
doubt.
it's Rashid Khan that we have tough time reading because he's very quick through the air. So he doesn't give you the time whether it's coming in or going out or it's going to be a different delivery altogether. So I think it's more to do with our other bowlers. So time for Naveenul Haq, Azmatullah Omarzai to step up, and Nabi has been in good form. So I think in the next games, hopefully Rashid should take wickets, and with him taking wickets, we get to have that factor of ensuring our way towards the victory or inching closer to the victory, hopefully. So yeah, it was nice talking to you, Shaman. I
Pleasure,
absolutely lovely
absolute
having you.
pleasure. And
Yeah.
finally, I just wanted to, bring back at the very first of the show. We did mention that you spent an Eid here in Bangladesh. I think you went off to Chittagong and you had a good time there. Just a short,
I am
reminiscence
I'm
of that.
I'm actually very grateful for the wonderful time I had in Bangladesh. I didn't miss my home much. I was away from home, but I enjoyed it equally. I went to uh, one of the uh, Bangladeshi homes. A friend, Tafsir, he took me home and he cooked me meal, and then I went to another home and we had like the Eid gathering and everything. So it was an awesome experience. I would like to say one thing about the Bangladesh people. As for the practice of the religion of Islam is concerned, it's really nice to see true and honest believer in the religion, and Bangladesh people are one of those who truly adhere to the values of Islam and follow them closely. So it was really nice and a blessed Eid, Alhamdulillah.
Yeah, it was great to have you, and it was really nice to know. And when I heard the stories from you, even my heart filled up that you had a good Eid because you
Thank
were
you.
away from your family and you could
No, you
spend the
checked on
Eid
me.
out
I
with your family.
appreciate that. Thank you very much for checking on me, Shaman. I appreciate that. Thank you very much.
Is the least we can do, right?
No,
As a host.
it was awesome.
Yeah.
It was awesome. Thank you
But
very
thank you
much.
very much for your time.
I want to thank the entire commentary team that we were with, Athar Bhai, yourself, Mazhar Bhai, and Shamim Bhai. Awesome experience. So hope to come again and again and talk to you in your show. And I wish you all the success for a bright star in Bangladesh commentary team that you are. It's been an honor, absolute honor to be with you on your very first show. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Fidai. Thank you. Thanks a lot for your time. I know you're at a cricket field at the moment, and thank you for pausing the game and coming in for this show. I'll let you go back to the game now and hope your team's winning, right? And,
Thank
and
you.
wish Afghanistan all the best for the rest of the World Cup.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Salaam.
Take care.
Salaam.
Thank you. So yes, that was Ahmed Farhad Fidai, the Afghanistan commentator, with whom we had a pleasure of working together earlier this year, and just tried to get some thoughts of him regarding the Bangladesh versus Afghanistan match, which of course Bangladesh have won by 6 wickets with number of overs remaining, of course. So it was a good start for Bangladesh, and I'm sure that Bangladesh fans would be elated and really looking forward to the rest of the World Cup. And in terms of the Bangladesh team, the cricket board, the management itself, I think we needed this victory very much, and it was a much needed one. So, and couldn't have come at a better time in a better manner, which it did. And fingers crossed. Really hope that this goes through and we carry on, we get some energy, some positivity within the camp from this, and we lead on to perform well and keep on winning most of the matches and the remainder of the World Cup 2023. Hope you had a good time on this episode of On the Mic with SG.